I've been ordained to offer exclusively the traditional Latin Mass.
The conditions under which people are living.
I really tried to distance myself from religious life.
It's just my desire to be a catechist.
Go back to reality and see what's on our table. It's quite depressing.
As I said, I have very strong spiritual beliefs and practices, and nothing at all will affect that, because that comes first, I believe. It guides my relationship with people, it guides the way that I project myself, it guides how I do work, and it guides the way that I behave publicly and also privately. And it is very, very important, because for me, my faith is number one. Everything else will come, but this is central to me, and this informs how I'm going to react. I mean, those that don't know me, when they see me over there, they're saying,
they don't want to associate with
yes.
you. Yeah. There are a lot of people who are in politics, who want to get into politics, who want to get into the government, or are actually working for the government, but still want to have an active role in the church. What do you advise them?
Continue. I am very active in the church. Very, very active in the church. Very active. And I always make sure I have time to do that. Make sure if I have work to do, then I can do it at the office. But certainly nothing will stop me generally to go and sing and conduct the choirs, as you are very well aware, at the national, at the ordinary level, and at the parish level, as you may be aware, that I was conductor for years and years and so on. But that did not stop me. Neither did it interfere so much with my work. I made sure whatever it is. I must admit that I had quite a number of late nights. And sometimes it wasn't very warm in the house, because quite a number of times I would work through the night, and the implications of that are quite clear. But it was accommodated, accepted that this is it, right? So for me, there were no clashes whatsoever. For politics, for me, is a practice, it's a disposition. And politics is there to facilitate the life of people, not to, not to harm them. Is there really to facilitate that people may live graciously together, and people may attain what we would call the basics and so on. And that's my projection of life. And that is why I can go and talk with anybody right at the ground level and right at the top level. And I will change my disposition as I move up. But always, for me, I'm always at the ground talking to people. Even if you were to go there, you'll find me everywhere, Tuniki, coming, and so on and whatever. Because for me, the center is the human being. The politics and then they're around the human being and are supposed to facilitate the welfare of the human being. But I start the other way. I start with the human being and then create what is there to ensure that the human being is quite comfortable. A church and so on and whatever. I have a very soft heart, even if I say so myself. Although first impressions, when people see me, they say we were so scared of you. Because, wow, now, you know. Well, I suppose sometimes when I'm serious, yes, people can get scared. And when there's scary business, like in the commission, when things were really tough, the chairperson particularly, the chairperson, Justice Makara, would say, you go. Say, but you are the chair, you go, you know how to deal with them. And I would walk there, they would say, finish. This one, finish. We are not in a position to... But that is a disposition to people. How do you project yourself? You don't go rummaging and lambasting people. No. You get there with a smile, you talk to them, you listen to them. It's important to listen. and then you're in a position to actually then communicate, right? And let them see your side of the story and their side of the story. It's always about accommodation. And that is my mission, as I am saying. Accommodation, participation, and communion.
Part of your work in the Catholic Church included, working for Mamba Press, in the board, the Catholic Church News, the Catholic University, as well as, in the Union of Catholic African Press.
Vice chairperson.
Yes, as the vice chairperson. What do you think is the key role of Catholic media, especially when we're dealing with politics and elections?
Yeah. Sometimes I don't envy you. There are pressures from every side that you see their side sometimes. But it is very, very important to maintain a focused position. Anybody who is into media must be able to walk the straight path. And I think generally they try to walk the straight path. But you also have other media personnel that are out to cause harm and havoc. Those, well, I could deal with them. But not too many people are in a position to be able to deal with them. Yeah. Because you just tell them straight away that what you are saying, this is not really the issue. Please come to my office. So I had an open door policy so that if anybody wanted to come for a tete-a-tete and to consult on anything, I say, my office is open. Please, you are free to come. So, yes, I don't remember when I was annoyed with somebody who had said some bad things about me, because in my presence, they probably wouldn't say it anyway. But they could write a little tweet here and a little tweet like what you read there. But really, when everything is said and done, I could handle it, I could deal with it. And I would not let that affect my relationships with the political party or the members in there, or affect my work, because I knew I was guided by certain regulations and the law particularly. So I would tell them straight, don't go around, and then come and see me later. No, don't come and see me later. Just say what you want. If they need even more audience, then that's fine. They can make an appointment. I have no problem with that. They would always come here. My office. But when some of those people see me for the first time, I know, this one, until they get to know me, even if I say so myself, I'm very soft.
Okay. Let's talk about...
It doesn't sound convinced that I'm very soft. I have a soft core.
Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about music.
Yes.
Music. I mean, what do you make of music? What does it do to you?
Music gets me to the heavens. I love music. Whether it's secular music, I love music.
Okay.
Certain types of music, of course, not the other, what I call the other forms of music, which are called music, when in actual fact it's not music.
What do you call music? What do you call nice music?
It must have meaning.
Okay.
It must have flow. It must be able to touch the core of persons. And it must be able to apply it to a certain situation. When I'm in a certain situation, then I know exactly what music to play. When I need to relax, I know what music to play. So you'll find all those genres of music. But when everything is said and done, I'll live music. And particularly church music, I just adore it. And I thank the composers, all of them, for whatever they do. And whoever composes a song, I don't believe when people say, this piece is rubbish. It's not. just get to understand what caused the whoever composed the hymn to come up with that. There must have been something. Find out what it is. Try, give yourself to understand what it is all about. Because in music, you can express what you don't want to say directly by mouth.
Okay.
People will just say, you are singing, when in actual fact you are projecting something. So music just does things to me.
Is there anything, though, that you think can be improved in the Catholic, sacred music circles?
While we know people have talents of composing hymns, I think there is need for educating composers on what church music is all about. It must have meaning, it must have impact, and it must have the place and timing where you actually sing a certain hymn. You just don't go and sing a wedding hymn when you are at a funeral. You must know when and how to play it. So generally, I accept somebody who has composed must be given credit for that. But it must actually have relevance to the situation. So I will accept anybody who has composed their hymn, but it must be relevant. I must admit some of them could be better. Yeah, but I'd like to think that if they were given the same to somebody who is an expert, I think they would polish it up and bring out the spirit of the song. And I must also admit that I think now there are too many. Too many. You are singing the same words, the different tune, and somebody comes in the same words in a different tune. It's confusing. And really, they are, for me, they are too, I can sing.
Many.
I can sing them and so on, but I think there are too many for people.
Okay.
Yeah, to actually understand what is the meaning behind this song. What was the occasion for somebody to actually compose them? They are very good composers, and there are others that need a few more lessons to be able to compose a hymn. But when you think that the person actually put an effort, you can forgive and try during music courses to actually try and learn it. But sometimes it can be quite a job and a half to understand what influenced the person to come. There must be an influence that influenced the person to come up with this particular hymn. You just don't wake up and say, I want to do this. Generally, you are influenced by. And there are certain composers that I really think know what they are doing.
What they're doing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's great.
Father Ribeiro is one of those.
Is one of them.
So rest in peace. Yes.
Okay.
His hymns are sober and they're spiritual. Simon, mwana wa Jonah, unondida here, unondida here, unondida here, unondida here, kupinda mwe, mose aba. All his songs, we just spot on. Mwana wa Chera, I'm not surprised.
Okay, great.
I'm mentioning the dead so that there is no trouble out there when we go out. Yes. And there are a number that I really think are very good. But the others, he could do better. But accept them anyway.
Okay. Now you are retired from ZEC.
Yes.
What do you spend your time doing? What are you involved in now?
Now,
Oh, talk about him first.
I still am very active in church. I still am very active, running to the papal offices with certificates of those that need to be certificated by the papal office. And in singing, I'm still there and making sure that there is order. Yeah. I'll just crack a joke and tell them to, go back home or whatever. I do it very nicely. There's always something to do at church. And within the community. And I find myself doing that. There's a lot to do actually, visiting the sick and so on and whatever. But I am still trying to round up on activities that I should be doing or should have done that are related to elections. And one of them, I'm actually, after I've written my father's biography, who asked me to do this, among the 11 of us, he says, I want you to write it. I have to begin. And writing my autobiography myself and watch the world go by and reminisce on what was happening. And around hymns. I suppose every paragraph will have an appropriate hymn that goes with it as an intwite. Yes.
Okay.
So there is quite a bit to do, even when you're retired. Currently, we are meeting the idea of starting an elders group in electoral matters that are not part of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission because it's not allowed. But we are meeting that in elders forum that will facilitate the activities of the commission that have their own funding, their own offices and so on, and that will be able to identify experts in certain area and bring them over, supported by the Elders Council. It's the Elders Council of retired commissioners and other senior personnel that have also retired. So there is always something to do. And you can also be called to the commission to
do one or two.
Something like I was at Leopard inducting the new commissioners, and so even when I had left,
Okay.
I was like, what should we do or what we should not do?
Okay. I mean, final words.
And I love the church. I love that institution where you are, and I really want to engage again.
Okay, great. What advice would you give to young people, Catholics, non-Catholics, and especially young women who have got a passion for something and face different challenges from the society and all that? What advice would you give them?
Well, it depends on the challenge. The first thing is to build their confidence that you are an individual and it is you who will make yourself. That's the first thing. Give them an ear. Most of them are there where they are because they have no ear. Nobody listens to them or listens to their problems and so on. So be available when a young person comes to say, please advise them, give them time and so on, and build their confidence. We need to come up with the programs for enhancing the capacity of the young. They are the leaders of tomorrow. And some of them are already leading, but some of them because they don't have the stamina to actually undertake that task. But we really, really need building the confidence of the young. They are the leaders of tomorrow. They have to be prepared. And you have now the problem or the challenge is keeping them in church. How do you make sure they continue participating in religious activities? Quite a number, especially with COVID, quite a number have decided they're not, even the elders, even family members. I saw somebody yesterday say, where have you been? I said, COVID. I said, COVID. I said, you see, those sort of things. People must be ready to adjust and study the society, study the situation, and be able to navigate in the situation and see where one can fit. And the young need a lot of advice, and they need a lot of massaging, and they need a lot of direction. Where, if you are there as an advisor, where do you think this young person is going to fit? Both in terms of occupation, and also in terms of their spirituality, and be there to redirect their energies to areas that you think they will be able to participate more fully as individuals. you need to, from time to time, brush them and console them. And sometimes we adults can be actually terrible to the youth. We have to understand them that this is the youth, and the challenges they are meeting now are different from what we met. Challenges, if we had any, at least we had any, but they were manageable probably within the family level. But they're meeting a lot of challenges, and it's a sorry sight actually. It's very, very, it's very sad. It's very, very sad. The youth is very, very sad.
Okay. Thank you very much for allowing us to see your life in retrospect, and also what you think and how you're faring yourselves.
I'm just hoping, like the publications, the media, as you were saying, I'm not sure how active the Gweru establishment is. It was active. I was on the board, as you were saying, but I don't know. We need a lot of material from writers and so on and whatever. There's need for a lot of guidance, not only for the young and even the elders. They need a lot of guidance, because now sometimes things appear like they are wishy-washy. I can come and go, anyway, Roma people will accommodate you, but it shouldn't be like that.
Thank you very much for watching. There you have it, Mrs. Joyce Laetitia Kazembe, a strong woman, but who is very soft.
Yes.
And she has seen it all, as you have heard her say, working in political institutions, working in the Electoral Commission, and several organizations that advance the cause of women and also their participation in communication. So do remember to continue watching and following our programs on Jesuit Communications social media pages. There you have it. Goodbye.